Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles with one purpose only: to help all individuals across the globe of all walks of life achieve their manifestation goals and dreams. It's so important to persevere and to actually achieve your goals and dreams and not give up on them. I created what's called the signature coaching program specifically for the YouTube audience 3 years ago. I've been a coach for 10 years total outside YouTube. I've had a long time practice now of coaching individuals in the entertainment industry. And 3 years ago, as I've mentioned, I came to YouTube because I wanted to share some ideas around COVID, and one thing led to another. And we got engaged in this conversation on specific people. It just happens to be so that I have a lot of experience in this department, and I've also myself personally had to overcome certain things in my personal life, which I share openly in my audios and videos alike. And my predecessor channel, the link is below. I had to leave that channel behind, so to speak, not entirely behind. It's still very much there. You can still watch all the, 600 videos on there, but it has technological issues. And so I'm starting fresh on this channel, but there's plethora of work there which you can get familiar with. The opportunity I saw for the YouTube audience is that basically 99% of the coaches that I've seen up until now really just offer short-term gain, okay? Instant gratification, promising instant gratification, which does not exist, therefore selling you a lie. And what I saw the opportunity of creating, especially for people who may be impatient or may just want to achieve something in a short period of time. This is the signature coaching program, 2 to 3 months in this intense coaching fashion, 3 times per week via Zoom or via phone call. I take you step by step through the process that actually works, which I actually went through myself and thousands of people in my coaching, both outside YouTube and on YouTube. Again, the coaching program was designed specifically in bite size for the YouTube audience, which is why it's able to be covered in 2 to 3 months, in that, if that makes any sense. Now, for some individuals, I found, because they have maybe, more drama, mama panorama, maybe another reason, but they need to stay with me longer. And we both have to agree, okay, in that sense, I don't want you to stay in the coaching more than you really have to. I don't think that's really of any benefit to you, all right? I really very much want you to soak up all of the knowledge, all of the processes that we went through together. I hold your hand throughout the entire coaching process. You have email access to me, even text messages if need be. Please be reasonable. It's all in the coaching agreement. And to get into the coaching, in fact, while I'm on the topic, you need to first schedule a 1 hour session first. I've implemented this in the beginning of this year, and I feel this is very helpful. Why? Because I want to make sure we both resonate with each other, that this is going to be a good partnership. In fact, it's for your own benefit and to protect you before you embark again on this coaching process of 2 to 3 months. Now, what you need to do for yourself is get familiar again with my material. I'm very direct, very straightforward. I'm never rude or disrespectful to my clients. Never have I ever been. My sole purpose of creating this channel, of creating Magic and Miracles, as I said, is to better people's lives. If my personality, for whatever reason, doesn't resonate with you, this is just not going to happen. I'm all for you. I work overtime for my clients. I stay past the session sometimes, don't make it a habit, but I do it if I see that the person needs it. Okay, I answer your emails. Like I said, you have access to me via email or via text. But what you need to do is, again, make sure that I resonate with you, make sure that you're really ready to take this seriously, okay? People who take this transformational process seriously, they show up to work, they come back with homework and take my guidance, they always succeed. Do they sometimes need to come back 6 months from that point of completing the coaching process, 7 months, a year from then? And then we do touch ups, is what I call them. I even have a separate package for that. Yes, absolutely. You never stop growing in that sense. There are different challenges at that point, but nothing so excruciating and never ending and that you're completely lost. Okay. Now, the emphasis again is that you use everything that you learned in coaching and that you're applying it to your daily life. Like, I can't do your push ups for you. Whatever you learned, whatever we kind of strategized for your life, because we cover all departments of your life, you need to do that. If you're not doing that and you're still at the same place in your life, that's entirely kind of your show, and you need to come up with your end bargain of the deal, okay? So having said all this, if you still have questions about my coaching, there's also a video on this channel about my coaching. But if you still have some questions, you can absolutely email me directly. All right. So the topic of today is the double slit experiment method to switch realities. I didn't know what else to call it because I'm sure as you're aware of the double slit experiment, and if you're not, here it is. In essence, the observer predicts the result. Okay, the consciousness of the observer in this experiment, which all the technical stuff, you can look it up on the internet if you're new to this, just type in double slit experiment. Depending on who was observing the results of the experiment, the results of the experiment changed, literally. They did all sorts of things. They sealed the envelopes. They, it conducted it several times over. It has to do with electrons passing through a slit, essentially. And behave when you are observing something, you're changing it depending on your preconceived notions, your beliefs, once more, your ideology, your ideas about yourself, your ideas about the world, etc., etc. Now, I'm going to give it to you really practically because I feel like, again, if you are to get an instant gratification here of some kind, which again, like I said, it doesn't exist, but I can give you practical ways of implementing certain things. And the reason, of course, instant gratification doesn't exist is because ultimately, you are going to have to face yourself at some point. I mean, you can run from yourself for a long time. It's like that song, run on for a long time, but it's gonna hunt you down kind of situation. So you might as well face the music, face the reality. Okay, what's happening and why it's happening. It's not the easiest of tasks, and nobody likes to admit that they created something they didn't like. But the thing is, here's the deal, right? Really quick parenthesis here. When you are open to humbly admit, yeah, you know what, this I created, but not for the reasons that I thought that I create, not to punish myself, not because I'm a bad person, not because, and again, I feel like in the manifestation circle, we really need to lift this stigma of judging people if they're manifesting something they don't like. Now, if that's all you're doing, manifesting something you don't like you just have a very special case, shall we say. Like, there's a lot to unravel, but that you automatically become a bad person, like, that's fucking crazy. I think that's out the window and should be out the window. Okay, I think if the conversation begins with how did it serve you, right? Are you looking even at the something that it's supposed to serve you? And what are you learning from it? It becomes a different conversation, parenthesis here. But to shame people because they've not achieved something yet or have not manifested yet, and to make them feel even worse than they already do, which is most coaches really succeed at that, to just kind of like guilt trip you into signing up. No, I don't want to guilt trip you. I want you to truly understand what the fuck you're doing with your consciousness and why you're doing it, and to love yourself even for the so-called fuck ups. Like, how interesting. What am I learning from it? And how does this benefit me? If the conversation turns around in this direction, you will be like a fucking superstar overnight, because all of a sudden you'll realize like all these fucking golden nuggets I'm walking around with and I'm not cashing them in. How you like me now kind of situation. But back to the double slit experiment. So here's the method. All right. Now you can use this anytime. And I mean anytime. And this will help you in your quantum leap process. Again, provided you are paying attention to your belief systems, which we rewrite in my coaching, and the assumptions, the automatic assumptions, and you're somewhat like working on that, okay? So that it can change in the process. Never take a measurement when you are angry, pissed off, desperate, feeling sad, blah, 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 blah. Never look at something, never talk to somebody, never have an like important conversation, never start doing something important that could potentially derail you into another parallel timeline, depending on what the mood is currently. You're taking a measurement from that world. Does that make sense, class? When you are pissed off and angry, the first matter of business, you have to do something to snap yourself out of it. It doesn't matter what it is. I talk about endlessly in all of my videos and audios on both channels, all right? You have to do something that really brings you joy. It could be so silly and so easy, like a bubble bath, like smelling the roses, like smelling your favorite scent, like eating your favorite food, cooking your favorite food, going for a walk, listening to certain music, patting your dog. These silly, so-called silly, simple things, they can transform and revolutionize your world and life, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you know you're pissed off, if you know you're feeling desperate, if you know that you feel like shit, basically speaking, and you're not doing anything to change it, you're being irresponsible. Simple like that. You're taking the measurement from the wrong world, and especially if you're in a position or in the middle of something important, a decision that again could potentially derail you into a parallel timeline because you're influenced by the wrong world. How much better to align yourself with the right world, i.e., excitement, happiness, thrill, pure joy, bliss, love, and adoration. It doesn't matter what, in that sense, it comes from, these feelings, as long, oh my God, I just got goosebumps down my body. You see that? All over my body. It doesn't matter what that something is that brings you this joy and happiness. All it matters that it does, and that you're a part of that world, and then act on that something, and then write that email, and then make that decision. You will be amazed and dazzled, but amazing energy will be implemented instead of the sucky energy, and other thoughts will be channeled by you. We're all channelers of our reality in that sense. So what like world you plugging your head in, for the lack of better explanation, is entirely up to you. You're the decision maker. Yes, deliberate decision maker of, I want to be a part of this world. Because with my consciousness, when I conduct this experiment of life and I go to measure something, I'm going to come with the consciousness expecting something else than I expected before when I was in the world of Mama Drama Panorama. And therefore, the reality will reflect it back to me. Because this is how precise the laws of the universe are. You already know what you're going to look at. Stop pretending that you don't. You just need to plug your head into the right world with the right vibration, with the right feeling of excitement, love, etc. Yes, at first it will feel mechanical, but you'll get used to quantum leaping yourself in this way by choosing deliberately which world you want to make that decision, make that action, speak those words, think those thoughts from. And what will happen, again, ladies and gentlemen, is that your life will never be the same. Because once you take that action from the world of bliss, of happiness, you will get that result of bliss and happiness. That something just turned around in your favor completely. And you did nothing in the 3D other than you switched worlds yourself. Who the fuck gives a shit about the 3D when you yourself are the parallel reality traveler in this way? All right? Who gives a shit? You switched worlds and now you have confirmation and, quite frankly, evidence. Physical fucking evidence, black on white, that this is the world that you're now residing in. Here's proof. How can you argue with proof? You can't. And so little by little, all of these little things build up, and now you're part of a different reality where your story that you told is now being seen publicly by everybody. Everybody can see what you constructed on the inside simply because you operated from a different world, not from the sucky world, from a world that you deliberately chose, not consulting anybody, not giving a flying fuck about anybody. This is how you rule the world. Make enough of these decisions all throughout your day, deliberately aligning yourself and positioning yourself in that energy of victory, of success, of magnificent outcomes, all in your favor, no matter what anybody fucking does. And it doesn't matter what anybody does. It really doesn't matter. Your energy overpowers everything. This is your world after all. Have enough of these decisions come true. All of a sudden, you understand you're part of a different world. And this is how, again, you float through life with ease, taking measurements from a different world than you perhaps occupied before, and therefore attaining evidence, confirmation from the outside, the honking. So cute. You have enough of the evidence to construct a new picture altogether. And again, who can argue with evidence? Nobody. It's black on white, darling. Once you have evidence, it's a whole other feeling. It's a whole other situation. And you can say to yourself, I created this. I went deliberately into that other world and I brought back, in quotations, some souvenirs, and they became my life. They became my vision. They became my world. So no matter what it is that you're working on right now, again, if you're pissed off, don't take any action from it. Don't assume anything from that place. Don't create any thoughts. Don't create anything from that point. Okay? Even if it's for a few minutes, you can certainly, if it's a meeting or a business meeting, you could certainly go to the bathroom, kind of like align your feeling quite a bit. You will shift worlds. You will not come back to the same room. It's like that. Even if you're standing right in front of a person, I've done certainly that, and you were waiting for an important answer from them, you can literally shift your body into a parallel universe because of your feeling, and they will come with. They're still standing in front of you, aren't they? And in the next minute, you will hear something else. It's all vibration based. And if you come into my coaching, I will be able to one-on-one explain more, which is only can be done one-on-one because everybody's different and everybody has, different background, different histories, different understandings in that sense. So take a leap of faith and try this method today, now. If you have something important or not that important, maybe try with something not that important at first and completely switch it, diametrically switch it. It's usually this, now I want this. But feel it inside your body and travel to that world. and then take action on that something from that world, even if it's, I don't know what it is, you will know what it is. Email, text, certain action, certain idea, you will know what it is because it will be inspired in that sense. But that you have to have a certain way of getting into this vibration. And again, this process will belong to you. In my coaching, I discuss this one-on-one with people and design it specifically for them, whatever resonates for them. Okay, that it is your job and responsibility to act from this world, and thus get to take those souvenirs from this world and keep taking those souvenirs from that world, i.e. results, until you're part of that world. And then what? Who can say no to that? Absolutely nobody. But this you could perform today. Take something very easy and watch it transform diametrically. Like, it's usually this, but now I'm making it this. And I'm going to hear these words, or I'm going to whatever, see this. They're going to tell me this. Or it's going to be this, and I'm going to finally see this something that is not usually there, or whatever the situation might be. Or this, I've waited for such a long time, suddenly today it's going to arrive, if it's not too difficult for you. Just entertaining other ideas other than what's presented to you, even though it's so insistent and right in front of your eyes. Understand, if it's not what you want, it's part of the world you don't want to be in. So you have all the permission in the world by the divine itself to make another choice. Become a part of a different world and mirror that energy and take action with that energy, and you will have a different result altogether. And by the end of the day, you're going to be like, holy shit bananas, I did this in one day. I literally quantum leaped in one day. If you're really disciplined and you're really diligent, you can completely transform your vibration by the end of the day. If you're starting in the morning, even better. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me again is below. Until next time, ciao, ciao.